Greetings all, Nick here from Those Hairy Gamers, back for part 2 of the Decimator builds that you guys have suggested for Mr. Justin.
Yes.
So we have some lists that don't involve Rear Admiral Shenru. Predominantly Captain Oicunn have involved in these, but we do have one other, which we'll get to last. But first of all, we have Captain Oicunn alongside a Sinar Specialist and an Imperial Trainee. This one's from our regular viewer, Mr. hawtopus 9. So Captain Oicunn,
He has Decoy, Rebel Captive, Intelligence Agent, Darth Vader, Dauntless, and Anti-Pursuit Lasers.
we've got the Sinar Specialist, which is the TIE Aggressor, with unguided rockets, a TLT, and guidance chips.
We have the TIE Striker with Adaptive Ailerons and Lightweight Frame.
So before we get into anything else here, you've unfortunately, Mr. hawtopus 9, made a bit of a mistake. You have unguided rockets and guidance chips on the Sinar Specialist. Now, it doesn't matter because guidance chips are free, but the unguided rockets specifically state that you cannot modify dice apart from using a focus token for its regular result. Guidance chips lets you convert a dice for free, but that counts as modifying a dice.
Yep.
So it will not work alongside the unguided rockets, unfortunately. But apart from that, we have a couple of little generic TIE fighters alongside Captain Oicunn, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a wacky build, as you said in the comment when you posted this. And yeah, I'm not too sure about it. I'm not too sure. We have Oicunn. Whenever Oicunn bumps into another ship, they suffer 1 damage, which is an interesting pilot ability, and you put Decoy on him. But unfortunately, Decoy does not work with Oicunn's ability, because Oicunn activates his ability when he bumps into a ship. Yeah. Decoy activates at the start of the combat phase. So unfortunately, again, we have a wasted slot, have wasted points. So honestly, I don't think this list has really come together. I think they just overlooked a couple of things, and to really sort of capitalize on what you want to try and do, you've got to rethink these upgrade slots.
Yeah.
Having said that, let's put that all aside for a second. We have Rebel Captive on Oicunn, Intel Agent, Vader, and Dauntless. That all feels strong. Dauntless and Anti-Pursuit Lasers on Oicunn is a very strong build. It basically means you just want to keep ramming into your opponent's ships. Yep. And just wrecking their face, basically. Intel Agent's good because you need the proximity to work it. If you're bumping into their ships, you're always going to be really close to them. The Rebel Captive, yep, again, is good because if you're going to get right in their face, they're pretty much going to want to shoot you. Yeah. That's just how it is. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I like the approach. I just think Decoy is just hurting you really here. You want a better ability than that. I just take off the unguided rockets and guidance chips and put on the lightweight frame. Yeah. It just feels like a better option. I know it's kind of boring. It's kind of like the cookie cutter list you do with the Sinar Specialist, but it'll work a lot better for you. I don't think having unguided rockets alongside the TLT is going to give you much more value. You're just pretty much going to shoot with the TLT every time anyway. And the trainee seems fine. I can see what you were trying to do here. With Decoy on Oicunn, we're thinking, okay, we can give the trainee his ability. Because of the TIE Striker title, it takes a free boost action before it moves, which makes it very easy to bump. TIE Strikers are amazing blockers, especially these low PS guys. Yeah. So I can see what you were thinking there, but unfortunately, because of when Decoy procs, that's not going to work. So there's a bit of improvement to do here. I think instead of Decoy, use Intimidation on Oicunn, because Intimidation says when you're touching, you reduce their agility, which means your other ships can sort of capitalize on that. And instead of guidance chips and unguided rockets, just use a lightweight frame. And you're having a much better time, frankly. I think that's pretty much what your list is more designed to do. I'm not sure about running 2 other ships with Oicunn. I still feel like even though he's not Rear Admiral Shenru, I'd still go for just one other ship. Yeah. I feel like it's just a bit more efficient. But this is a cool idea, and with a bit of ironing out, could work well. Let's move on to Nik Vernon's list. Now, I will just say this before we get into this review. You mentioned in the comment that this list is good for a new player because it includes components only from the Decimator and the Lambda Shuttle, which is great. It gets bonus points for that. And it's a good, simple, fun build for new players. And I totally get that. I have my criticisms for the list, but it's good to keep all that kind of stuff in mind. Just to learn how to fly the Lambda class shuttle, this is a cool idea. He ran Oicunn again with Intimidation, Darth Vader, Ivana Sard, Mara Jade, Anti-Pursuit Lasers, and the Dauntless title.
He also had the Lambda class shuttle with Colonel Jendon, Heavy Laser Cannon, Weapons Engineer, Rebel Captive, and ST-321.
Which is the ship's title.
Yeah.
Basically that says you can take a target lock from anywhere on the board.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. Which I can kind of see what you're doing here. You can take a target lock with the weapons engineer and get 2 target locks from all the way across the board. It's interesting. I don't think you're getting the value from 3 points. I think there's a reason this tile doesn't get played. 3 points is probably just a bit too much. So the idea of what you're doing there is you're getting these target locks and you're using Jendon's ability to pass it over to Captain Oicunn. I get that. That's cool. I just feel like for the cost of 6 points to get weapons engineer and the title, I don't know if it's working good enough. Also, I really advise against putting HLC on a Lambda shuttle.
Yeah.
It's very hard to maneuver, and once they get round the back of it, HLC is just a dead 7 points. It's a great card when you have a ship that can maneuver well and get ships back in arc over and over again. The Lambda shuttle just can't.
No.
The base attack is already 3 red dice, and honestly, I just stick to that. I can see what you're trying to do. I just think HLC on the Lambda shuttle in general is a bad thing. In fact, I think the cannon on the Lambda shuttle in general is not strong.
Yeah.
They didn't put a cannon on the Epsilon class shuttle. I feel they realised that was a bad move. It's points that are pretty much dead because of how easy it is to fly around them.
Yeah.
And people will punish you for putting an HLC on a shuttle, and yeah, rightly so. It's not going to be your friend. Apart from that, we have Oicunn with Vader, Ivan Assad, Mara Jade. Yeah, that all feels really good.
Yeah.
I like Anti-Pursuit Laser and Dauntless and Oicunn again. Intimidation, again, it all makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Vader, Hassan Azad, you've got great symbiosis there. Mara Jade's always strong. You don't need other stuff in the build to make her good.
Yeah.
I just recommend flying alongside Oicunn something that's going to... If you want a cannon-equipped ship, you want something that can dogfight better, that can joust better. A Lambda shuttle just isn't going to get you there, unfortunately.
No.
And I like that he can pass target locks to Oicunn. I just don't think that's valuable enough. When the ship costs 42 points and is basically dead once your opponent flies behind it, that just hurts way too much.
That's a lot.
Yeah, we have a lot of lists these days coming up with the Upsilon class shuttle and the Decimator, which makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense because the Upsilon class shuttle has a much better dial. It still suffers if stuff flies behind it, but it's got 4 red dice, it's got more health.
Yeah.
It costs a lot more, but those points are well allocated.
Okay.
You don't need to take target locks from across the map. It's not going to save your bacon, basically. Yeah. You don't need to pass around target locks. You could just take a targeting synchronizer on an Upsilon class shuttle and probably get the same function, but just internally a bit stronger. You don't need a cannon. You just don't.
Yeah.
With an Upsilon class shuttle, we're approaching what you're trying to do, but in a much more efficient way, and that's why the Decimator and the Upsilon class shuttle work well together. Lastly, we have a list from Joseph Hynds. This uses Commander Ken Kirk alongside Rex Labrath. Ken Kirk's an interesting one because as long as he has a damage card on him, he gets agility of 1.
Yep.
Which is fantastic, actually, especially alongside Ivan Assad. Basically, you're really banking on that whole idea of, okay, once Ivan Assad activates, this is going to be a very, very tanky ship.
Yeah.
And you put it alongside Rex Labrath. Now, the issue with that is your opponent might choose to target Rex Labrath. Because it's a defender, that might not be so easy to do. You've also got outmaneuver on him, so yeah, I can see what you're trying to do. You're trying to make him an arc dodger. Rex Labrath already is pilot skill 8.
Yeah.
So that's not too hard to do. The ship has a barrel roll on it, so it's going to work quite well. Basically, outmaneuver says if you shoot another ship inside your arc and you're not inside their arc, their agility is reduced by 1. Which is very powerful. When we're already shooting 2 shots, one with an ion cannon and one with the regular primary of the defender, it's doing a lot of work for you.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the best choice for Rex Labrath, but it's certainly a good one. 37 points is pushing the defender a bit, but I think it's fine. This is going to do a lot of work for you, and Rex Labrath's ability is once you give your opponent a critical, you draw 3 cards face up and choose which critical they take. Which is nasty, nasty, nasty.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So basically, I feel like you're banking on the fact that your opponent's going to go for Ken Kirk first. And that might not always be the case. Your opponents might fly something good enough to dodge Rex Labrath, to outfly Rex Labrath. So you got to be careful with that. But ultimately, I don't think these builds are bad in any way. I just think that is a counter strategy to your list, which you have to look out for. You've also put on Agent Callus with a Decimator. And I will say, I don't like Callus on a Decimator in general. I don't think having a 0 agility is going to help. I think you're not getting the full value out of Callus. But if you must put Callus on a Decimator, this is one of the best options for it.
Yeah.
He's tanky, he has a green dice, which is fantastic. It means you're going to get that green dice value out of him. Predator means you're more likely to get focus results, which gives you a better chance of using the offensive capabilities of Agent Callus, which I quite like. So, overall cool. I feel like if your opponents target Rex Labrath first, you're going to have a hard time.
Yeah.
But apart from that, they're both really solid builds, and I quite like them. So, Justin, looking at all these Decimator builds, are you inspired?
I am inspired.
Excellent, excellent. Anything in particular you were looking at over the past couple of videos that make you go, ooh, we should do that first?
I don't know. I'm still a massive fan of Rack.
Yeah, I understand that. There's nothing wrong with being a fan of Rack. If we get the TIE Advanced prototype, you can do that Inquisitor build, which I think looks really good.
Oh, yeah.
For me, out of everything here, what surprised me most with this Inquisitor build, and I think this is something that's definitely worth looking at. This was a list by Coda we did in the last video. Yeah, I like the idea behind it. I really like the idea, and I think it's worth a try. We'll have to have a go at that at some stage.
Definitely.
Apart from Rack, was there anything else with the other pilots that interest you greatly?
I do like Oicunn. Oicunn is a very interesting
I agree.
design.
Oicunn with Dauntless and anti-pursuit lasers. What I like about Oicunn, and this is especially good for you because you're a new player, it's very, very noob-friendly.
Yeah.
Just ram your opponent's ship. Anyone can do that.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a genius to just ram your opponent's ships. And you're going to get a lot of value out of it because of that. It's very good for aggro-type builds, which is what I like to fly, actually, which I think is the reason I like Oicunn as well. We could do Oicunn and a Defender. We could do Oicunn and the Inquisitor. There are options there.
That's true.
There are things here that we can really play around with and... just experiment and get you into the world of list building, Justin.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, guys, for all the suggestions. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. We will be filming a few of these games and putting it on the channel eventually. We're still moving towards the stage where we can record Let's Plays for X-Wing and having a great time with that. But for the time being, like, subscribe, like our Facebook, and we will catch you later.
Bye.